All right, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Hawashai, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Hawashai, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Howell, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Regard Kodash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the whole for the elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the Pre-Shaman, this week's topic is going to be entitled Adultery Runs Rampant. And the inspiration for the show comes from the fact that somebody sent me some dude on Instagram named Black Steel, okay? BLACCSTELE, and pretty much what he's doing, he's giving these women these sensual massages. Now, I don't think that's the individuals um, in this video, because there's several of these jakes out there giving these women sensual massages, as they call it. All right, and they're not single. All right, these are women that have men. Well, some of them don't. Okay, but even if, man, you're not supposed to be fully. Instagram is just another porn site at this point, man. Because all they do is just have their hands over their nipples, and you see pretty much everything go down. And this is adultery, man. All right, because it wasn't this video, but I was watching another video on the YouTube where you had women in the comment boards talking about, I'm gonna have to go because my man ain't massaging me like this and this, that, and the third, man. Just a whole bunch of wickedness, and this is adultery, which runs rampant here in Babylon. Now, let's start basic. Let's start simple. It's part of the Ten Commandments, Exodus 20 and 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery. The Most High made it plain. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Now, what is adultery? A lot of people don't even understand that. What adultery is? They think that's a man having more than one woman. That's not true, all right? Leviticus 20 and 10 says, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. See, you had sins that you could cover with offerings, and you had sins that were worthy of death. And adultery is a sin that is worthy of death, man, sleeping with another man's wife. Now, if we go to 1 Kings, the 11th chapter, it tells us that King Solomon, in verse 3 says, 1 Kings 11 and 3 says, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. So we know that King Solomon had 1,000 women, and that wasn't a sin in itself, all right? The sin is not having more than one woman, but the sin is pretty much having another man's woman, okay? Now, are we all guilty of adultery for the most part? Yeah. Because unless you got a woman that was a virgin, yes, you did commit a form of adultery, because this is an adulterous generation. Now, the Most High is going to pardon the elect for that, because one, it's out of ignorance. We didn't know what the hell we were doing, but now that we know, all right, we're making sure that we're not dealing with another man's woman, Proverbs 6 and 32 tells us that, but whoso committeth adultery with a man, with a woman, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding, right? Because you don't understand that that's worthy of death, man. How can you not? Is not sharing boxes. If I was to run around sweaty, all right, went to the gym, okay, and took off my boxes and shit, you wouldn't. The last thing on your mind would be to wear those boxes, man, or even wear another man's boxes after it's fresh. It'll gross you out. But yet, men are quickly to dive into another man's woman. And look, man, if a woman is your woman, you do anything with her, man. All right. Now we do everything, under the law. But you got jakes out there that ain't under the law. They popping a woman in the ass. They doing all types of crazy shit. Nothing anywhere and everywhere, right? And then you're gonna go down and share those body fluids, the adulterer. That's a complete lack of understanding, man. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul, and that's what pisses the Most High off. Sometimes the Most High has the Spirit get on individuals to just act out the law, put certain individuals to death, like what O.J. Simpson did. When he came home and caught his woman committing adultery, man. Put her and the dude to death. Now, of course, we can't exercise that law. All you could do is put up curses if, Most High forbid you fall into a situation like that. Okay? Whether, the woman you with committed, or you popping some chick and she never told you, you just put up them curses and you pray for forgiveness, man. All right? And the thing too, why adultery runs even more rampant is the rise of these dating sites, man. Tinder, Hinge, Bumble. See that shit. Honestly, brothers, this shit is wicked, man. We're not supposed to be doing no pump and dumps, man. You know, that's not how the Lord wanted it to be. When you dealt with a woman, that was supposed to be yours for life, man. You know, unless pre-eventually you're dealing with a harlot, you paying for it. It's different, you know. But that's supposed to be the woman of the other nations, man. Because he's not supposed to be, a whore of the daughter of Israel, man. You know. Now we in a societies, you know, that look, man, you get you a harlot, you get your shit off, even if she is an Israelite, right? But when things are right, man, none of our women are gonna be whores. None of our women's gonna be harlots. There's not gonna be pump and dumps. None of that shit, man. All right, you're gonna have wives and you're gonna have concubines, man. And truly, even though a man wants multiple women, a man can only have as much women as he can afford. You know, it's just like having multiple cars. Not everybody can have multiple cars or multiple homes. You know, this whole Kevin Samuels and these guys talking about high value men, that's already in the scriptures, man. You know, the more money you have and you can afford them, that's supposed to be yours, and they'll deal with it. But we live in a westernized society where traditional values are frowned upon, at least from a woman's standpoint, how a woman should carry herself, because most of them are fatherless. And I'm gonna get scriptures on that. Mark 10:11 says, "And he saith unto them, Whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committed adultery against her." So, you know, when you go out on dates with these women and you smash them and you just kick them to the curb for no reason, we all have done that, you know, for no legit reason. You know what, man? We just put her out to commit adultery again. You know, whether we fed up with the bitch and all that, you know, there wasn't supposed to be no divorce. But, you know, as Yahweh Shah goes into it, you know, they pretty much did that because um the Most High knew, you know, how things were gonna sort of play out. So he set up that whole bill of divorce thing, man. But technically speaking, man, if you kick a chick to the curb for no reason, really, you're just putting out there to commit adultery. And I know it's hard to try to keep these women around because they're westernized, man. And they're asking for a lot of things out of you in return for nothing. You know, you have to have money, a lot of money to just have most of them come home and cook and clean for you. All right, when you have Jake's Israelite woman out there in foreign countries, that's just doing that for a regular guy. You know, places like Mexico, Ecuador, you know, where the woman's just cooking for a man because that's how she was raised up. Now, Ecclesiasticus 26:10 says, "If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty." Isn't that's what's going on TikTok? You know, you got your little daughter, and you know the father loses sleep over the daughter. That's in the scriptures. They doing all these busted challenge, silhouette challenge, pretty much a lot of whoredom. Verse 9 tells us, Ecclesiasticus 26:9 says, "The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and her eyelids." And that's how a lot of these IG model looks, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, all that gross shit, man. That shit is not attractive, man. Big ass butterfly lashes and fake weave and all that type of stuff is heavy makeup. That is not attractive, man. Women are supposed to be naturally beautiful, man. Little to no makeup, man. But that's how most of these women are dressing now, carrying themselves this way. And you can't keep her in straightly. You can't, you know, discipline your child as the scripture says you ought to do, because the government will take your child. It says, "Watch over an impudent eye," verse 11, "and marvel not if she trespass against thee. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler." Meaning she gonna suck off every Dick, Tom, and Harry. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. Ew, man. You know, that's what happens when they have much liberties. These women, you know, through feminism and all that kind of stuff, they think they like men. And they get depressed trying to live their life like men, because you're not built to have as much sex as a man is with different partners, man. A man could have sex with 100 different women and not feel any type of way or depressed or nothing like that. That's just how the Most High have it. But you got these women that deal with 100 men, 200, 300 men. After a while, they start feeling fucked up in the head because all them spirits is up in them. See? It says, "By every hedge will sit down." It It says, by every head she will sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. Meaning she gonna spread her legs to any dude, man. If you don't watch over them. And that's the society we live in, man. You got women spreading their legs to anything. You got men pumping and dumping left and right. It's just a whole bunch of adultery going on, man. And it's not right. It's not what the Most High wants for his people. You're digging, you're planting your seed in polluted lands. Jeremiah 3:1 tells us that. It says, they say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? Right, you know what that's talking about, bro? You put away your woman, okay, and she went out and she had all types of dicks and then in her, and then you going back up in it. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we're in a society where, man, it's very rare that you was the first in there, you know? And if you get that, try your best to keep that, man. It says, but thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. And Israel committed spiritual adultery, all right? By calling on these other gods, man. By calling on these other gods. This is Israel right here. Proverbs 30:20. Such is the ways of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and say, I have done no wickedness. So Israel did that to the Most High. All these different deities they didn't worshipped, and then have the nerve to come back to the Most High for deliverance, man. And these actual women, okay, I'll read it again. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wicked. Yeah, she could suck a dude off, go home and kiss her husband like nothing happened. Or lie down with a man. Oh, he forced me into it. When you shouldn't have been there in the first place. You shouldn't have even been in contact to be friendly. Oh, we were just friends at the gyms and one thing led to the next. You see? That type of madness, man. That's how come, man, even in our minds we committed adultery, bro, because we go around the way these women are scantily dressed. You be in the gym, they wear the leggings, busting it open, see-through leggings and all that, and she could have a man. And you already know what the scripture says. You already committed adultery in your mind. So the way this generation is run, the way women are, westernized, feminists, the way these men are, have to be now, you know? It's like even if you want to try to settle down with a woman, you're going to catch a lot of hell. They make themselves hard to keep around, you know? So this adulterous generation is going to be wiped out. Has to be, man. It has to be, because these things cannot go on forever. This wickedness cannot go on forever. The Most High ultimately, all right, is going to have to turn things right side up, and that's going to happen in World War III when these nuclear missiles hit, man. And it's right around the corner, because as you can see what's going on over there in Israel right now, they always stirring shit up, and the scripture says the least of the flock shall draw them out, right? So them so-called Israelis over there, all right, they stirring shit up in the Middle East, and Lord willing, after this RFID microchip becomes mandatory, all right, the Lord's gonna let loose, all right, have these nations take it to the next level and put an end to this adulterous, wicked, evil-run generation, man. With that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekah Kodash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.